everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for always coming to watch. You are amazing. And if you are new, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you get all the notifications as soon as I post. Today we are going to be making ofaku. If you are a Nigerian living in the diaspora and you're wondering how to make authentic ofaku, don't worry, I've got you covered. And even if you're from any other ethnicity and you're wondering how I made this sauce, or you want to learn how to make Nigerian sauce, keep watching this video. Ofaku, aka palm nut sauce, is popular in the eastern part of Nigeria. It is made from the extract of palm nut. It can be enjoyed with rice, plantain, beans, and also you can have it with swallows such as fufu, eba, or pando yam. The ingredients used for this soup are goat meat, because I wanted an authentic flavor. Also, I used some African chicken, which I got from the African shop. I used stockfish, both the fillet and the stockfish ears. I also used some dried fish. I used dried catfish specifically. I also used onions, seasoning cubes, ogiri okpei, also known as fermented locust beans. You can use dawadawa or dried iru if you want. I used some Cameroon pepper, some crayfish. And I also used some palm paste, which is the star of this soup. I'm going to show you how I incorporate that into my recipe. I used some fresh tomatoes, some fresh pepper, salt, and crayfish. And because we don't have saint leaf here, I will be substituting the saint leaves with the basil. This will give you similar taste to what you would get using a saint leaf. I start by washing my dried and cut fish with warm water. This will get rid of any dirt that might have accumulated on your fish while it was being processed or dried. Then in a pressure cooker, I put in my goat meat and my chicken, and then I added my stockfish because I want this stockfish to be nice and tender. And I start to season up with some onions, salt, 4 seasoning cubes. I added some pepper and some boiling water, and I gave this a good mix. I really wanted the meat to taste really nice and the flavors to be evenly distributed. And I boiled this meat in my pressure cooker for about 15 minutes. In a bowl, I empty the content of my palm paste. I'm using the Praise brand. I've been using it for the past 6 years and it has never disappointed me. So what you can see me scraping out from that tin is like the extract of the palm nut that was processed and put in a tin. Usually in Nigeria, we'll make use of the fresh palm kernel and extract the juice. But because I am living in Australia and I have no access to the palm kernel, that's why I'm going by this alternative. And believe me, you will get the same taste. The same taste that you would get from using the palm kernel itself, because this is only just an extract that was put in a tin. So what I'm trying to do at this point is I'm trying to loosen up that paste to make it into like a juice, and I'm looking out for a light consistency. I dissolved the ogiri okpei or fermented locust beans in water, and I got this consistency. I'm going to set that aside to use later. For this recipe, I'll be using some fresh tomatoes. Please feel free to skip this step if you don't want to. I blended my tomatoes and I boiled it and made sure that I dried out all the water from it. I'm going to show you how I incorporate this into my ofaku. So guys, I let that palm juice to sit for a few minutes because I wanted any impurity to settle. So at this point, I'm going to start to decant that palm paste into my pot, pouring it out carefully because I don't want to make a mess and it spill everywhere, okay? And as you can see from this video, you can see the impurity that is at the bottom of that juice. I'm going to discard of that. This in the pot is all I'm going to be using, okay? I'm going to transfer my pot to the stove, let it boil for a little bit to release its oil. At this point, I start to add my meat stock. I start to add every other ingredient that I want to use. So I first off started by adding my dried tomatoes, which I showed you how I dried. And at this point now, I'm adding my crayfish. Please be generous with your crayfish. Remember, I cooked my stock fish with my meat. So I'm adding it back into this soup, and I'm also adding my dried fish. All this fish being added to this recipe intensifies the flavor. So I add my fresh red pepper, and I also added my Cameroon pepper. The Cameroon pepper has this unique aroma and takes your soup to the next level, guys. Anyways, I added my chopped onion to this recipe, and I finished off with adding my ogiri okpei, which is my fermented locust beans. Gave it a stir, and I let it cook for a few minutes. My meat, I put it in the oven and I grilled it. So after my soup has sat and cooked for about 15 minutes. It's now thick. I love the consistency that it is at this very moment. And my kitchen is full of aroma. And it's like my neighbors will be wondering, what is this girl cooking? Guys, anyways, I went in and added my grilled meat into this soup. I tasted my soup. It needed a little bit of salt, so I added a little bit of salt, a little bit of seasoning cubes, and I stirred it up, and it was perfecto. Like, it was perfect. Anyways, guys, the last ingredient you need for this soup is your basil. If you're in Nigeria or if you have access to saint leaf, use saint leaf. But in this recipe, I used basil, and it came out fine. It came out superb. So I finished that off, and there you have it, your OFE AKWU, aka Nigerian palm nut soup. Guys, tell me if you are going to be trying out this recipe. Give this video a thumbs up, okay? Make sure you share with your friends and your family, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.